Hey, welcome everybody. This is the Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees meeting for March 9th, 2021. It is 7:03 p.m. and we are holding this regular meeting by Zoom platform in accordance with House Law 681, Section 6. And anybody who would like to join the meeting can do so by using the link that has been that was posted with the warrant, or sorry, with the warning and notice for the regular meeting in the newspaper and on Front Porch Forum. And I will just go ahead and share that link with you as well. There is a call-in number as well. Let me just, okay. Well, we'll get the call-in number up in just a minute. But if you want to join via the internet or your computer or phone, you can use this link. Okay. So the first order of business tonight is to review and approve of the minutes from Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. And have the trustees had the opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I wanted to question why Aaron was both at the meeting and not at the meeting.
Okay, so let's see, we were trustees present and then absent. So I think trustee,
that is a mistake. Erin was late, and so I had her down for absent as I was typing and didn't remove that. So I'll fix that.
okay, thank you. I was trying to remember, and I thought that she was there, but then I think it was just, yeah, she was late. So.
And so then I didn't take her off.
Okay.
I accept.
We didn't have any citizen comments. We went over the financial information, and I think it was a pretty, there wasn't too, I don't think we took any official business other than approving the bills and the warrants.
I will second Mark's approval.
Okay. Been a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Tara is waving, and I don't hear any objection. I don't hear any objection from her, so the motion will carry unanimously. And I think Trustee McKinney just approved of it as well. Okay, so the minutes have been approved. Can put those away. And let's move on to the financial documents, the payroll warrant and the village warrant bills. So let's start with the payroll. And this month, the payroll is in the amount of $9,247.37. Is that correct, Mary?
That is correct. And I will also note that the intern, there were a couple of checks for the intern that would have been on last month's warrant, but I was unable to pull the accurate hours from that Google Doc in time for Lori to put them on the February warrant, which was also a little early. So you'll note that there is a catch up for the intern on this warrant.
All righty. Any other questions on that warrant? Just everything else is just the regular folks?
The
Is there a
regular
motion?
folks, and then there was the gentleman who does some plowing on occasion in the winter time, and there was the whole month of February plowing hours in there.
Yeah, that's Jack Bodwin who does
Yes.
the
Yes.
sidewalks mostly, but
Yes.
yep. Any further discussion, or do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, motion's been made, and if there is no objection, that motion will carry unanimously, and we have approved our warrant for the payroll. And we'll move on to the warrant for the bills. That one's the one in the Excel document. I could actually, this one I think is good to share just so that we can be looking at the same document. Let's see, sorry. Can people, is that big enough to see?
Yes.
Actually, I think I might be able to,
Yeah, make it a little smaller. You can't really see it on a screen.
okay. So we got our couple of salt payments,
I believe there were 3 invoices comprising that.
okay. Bennington Tire, and GA Bove.
That's that's one that comes in every month. That
It's
is,
fuel. It's
fuel.
highway department
Oh.
fuel.
yeah.
That's right, yep.
Also similar, I had mentioned in the notes, similar to last month, some of these invoices, again, with the mail delay, Lori is not able to get them in time to put them on the previous, the February warrant. There was also, it appears to be some potential issue with Comcast again, suggesting that their payment was late. I don't know that there were any late payments, but Lori and I discussed and cut those checks last week just to get it out and to avoid any issue.
Okay.
But I don't really know what's going on with that company.
Don't really see any other,
The white rocks is some lettering on a gray pickup truck or a gray dump truck, I think it was.
well, we
Great.
just
Or
got our new
truck. Yeah,
vehicle, yeah.
yeah. And the Bennington tire are 4 tires for one of the fire trucks.
Okay.
Muted, Mark.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the total?
I just made one muted.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. So I'll make a motion to approve the warrant, the amount of $28,801.33.
Okay. And if there is if there's no objection to that motion, hearing none, then that motion carries unanimously. And we have approved payment of that warrant. Okay, and I'm just going to go back to our agenda for a minute. And just, let's see, where are we here? Oh, I'm sorry, that's the old agenda. What did I do? I must have closed out the wrong agenda. I apologize. No. February, March. Okay, here we go. Here's our new agenda and don't ask me where 929 is, but hopefully you've got a cell phone so you can call, but okay, so I'll just leave that for a couple of minutes in case someone was really burning to call in to our meeting. There is a call-in number. And the next item of business would be any citizen comments. Are there any, there are no citizens present at this time, but is anyone aware of citizen comments that need to be addressed? Or issues that have come up? We can just treat that as essentially new business, but you know, okay. How about a report from the treasurer? Is there anything?
Certainly, I have just a couple of brief updates. I had provided to you earlier just a statement of where all of our cash balances were at the end of February. The one thing to note is if you compared it to the previous month, you'll note that the truck reserves are significantly down. And that is because we elected to make that payment for the dump truck out of the reserve account, since we actually do have sufficient funds in there. So you see, we have $15,000 left in that account. Now, that's not concerning. We have not funded this account for this year. And if we look at the long schedule, the multi-year schedule that had been prepared previously, by the time we need to get the next dump truck, we will have this sufficiently built again to completely cover that. We should not be in the situation of having to significantly borrow for the 3 highway trucks, with the exception of the big dump truck, unless there are changes to the annual budget amount for that. But other than that, basically that's all I wanted to say on that one. As another report, just brief update here, I had filed the required status report or status update with the community development department, with the Vermont Community Development Department, who is oversees that grant for the electric vehicle charging station. So they are aware that we're kind of on hold with that. Simultaneously, I had also reached out to the parties that are involved in this to see if we can't set up a meeting again to finally just nail down the site where this should go. I'm really baffled as to why. I truly do not understand what the holdup is, and why there seems to be some need from the railroad side that I frankly don't understand. But the state is very compassionate. They understand that when you're dealing with railroad or third parties, it does take additional time. And I have had a reply that they will work with us and extend the July deadline if need be to comply, to complete that grant. So that's where we're going there. As regard to the audit work that we had started back in the fall, that is still ongoing. I did take a bit of time and consult with Steve Love as to how to properly set up the accounting for all of these reserves that you see here. They had never been on QuickBooks ever, 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 simply on this piece of paper and those spreadsheets that I maintain. So Steve was helpful in guiding me on how to set these up in QuickBooks. It's cumbersome, but I think in the long term it will be good to have them somewhere other than a spreadsheet and a piece of paper. And then I do have a conference call with the firm tomorrow to kind of pick up things that we need to do on that audit. The biggest piece is what's considered a single audit, federal single audit, and that is all because of that $2.2 million spent on the water department project that was under the name of the village. And that requires a specific audit, which is way above my ability to manage on my own. So those will all be discussed in depth tomorrow. Other than that, if there are any questions, feel free to ask.
But that's a cost that would presumably be built into the water department side?
I think it'll likely be shared because I don't know what it's going to cover. I do know that the water department increased their 2021 budget to accommodate at least part of that. I couldn't even begin to guess what the cost of this is. But it is in the name of the village, so it will be a budget of the village.
Oh, I see what you mean.
How it includes the water department is something I don't know.
I
I
got
would assume that if it's a water, the only reason it came through the village is for financing and then oversight. If it's a water department project, I would assume that.
Correct, but it is,
audit- But the
but
audit
it
of that project should be covered by the water department.
well, I think I'm not even going to try to debate
Oh, yeah,
that
that's not a
here.
question for you. That's not a question.
Just simply that there will be a cost and it will, whether it covers any of the water department books, I don't know. It may only be the village side. I really don't know how this will work. I can't imagine it wouldn't cover at least the expenses of the water department pertaining to the project, but it's a new one for me.
Right. I mean, I think an audit is an audit. So if we were going to get an audit anyways, we should pay the price of getting an audit. But if this is a, more of a colonoscopy type audit, then, that additional cost would only, it is essentially but for the water project. So could be budgeted into their side, in my opinion.
Yes, my opinion is there should definitely be some shared cost of this.
Right.
And my understanding, and it is only my limited understanding, that this is a much deeper dive than the typical audit that we have had and that the water department does.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm
like-
sure that's stuff that Love Cody have done for the town of Bennington before. So
They certainly would have the expertise. I do not.
yeah. All right.
So-
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, okay, let's, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to take it off the share screen, but. I have a few items from Norm and the highway side. The street sweeper that we have is problematic because there's so many, small wires and parts and mechanics, or not mechanics, but wiring that runs the various aspects of that machine that mice tend to get in there and stuff happens to it. And so it has to be fixed on a regular basis, basically. So, and recently it got to, and usually Norm is able to do that. He's done it several times before. But this time it sort of seemed like it was, he wasn't able to get it this time. And so it had to go in to get fixed. And he was thinking that that was kind of the end of it because it was probably something unfixable, but apparently it was fine and it was able to be fixed. But this was down in Albany, so it did need to be trucked down and back. So there's a little bit of a cost in bringing it down and back, but it is fixed and running again now. But that was just something he wanted to let us know that would be coming back on Thursday. We should be receiving the excavator soon. That has arrived in port in New Jersey and has, as my understanding, has gone through customs. So it's just waiting to be trucked up here. And we should have our excavator in hand fairly shortly. They have started to apply gravel to Park Street today and cut some brush on the sides of the road. And then they're thinking about the various jobs that will be able to start up now that the warmer weather is coming. And that was pretty much the update from there. I did get a call from the president of the board of the Fund for North Bennington. So we would just remind folks that there is an increase in use in all outdoor spaces due to people being home more and trying to take advantage of these outdoor spaces because we can't do the indoor activities. So with increased use comes, the things that go along with that. And one of those things is dog poop. So please, 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 please always bring a bag and always pick up after your dog, because especially in places where that's really common, like the Mile Around Woods, it can really get problematic. It carries disease, we don't need that on top of COVID-19. So, and people love to have the, 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds walking along in the field, for the picture with the horses and everything. So let's not have them picking up a thing of dog poop and sticking it in their mouth. Okay. That's just not what we want to do. There is a waste receptacle right there at the entrance to the Mile Around Woods. So that's a convenience that we've added to help even more. But please just be aware that with the increased use, it's not, oh, I didn't remember it this time, so whatever, it'll just be out in the woods. I mean, if one person is doing that, then 5 people are doing it now during COVID because it's just so much more use. So please be aware of that. Because I think as far as the highway is concerned, we're seeing more and more, whether it's the skate park or whether it's the fishing access or Lake Perrin or the Mile Around Woods, there's just a lot more stuff around. And so if we could all kind of do our part there, that would be great. We also, I think I speak for the board, but I will speak for myself and let the board chime in after the fact, where I would say, and this is moving on from highway, so I'm just going to make a comment here sort of under general business, but I would, that as the vaccines become more and more available, I would encourage everyone who is eligible to get a vaccine to please do that. I think, we've all been through a lot this year, and the faster we can move in that direction, the better. And so I think that even though, some person may express hesitation or whatever, as far as the public health and all of the science that is telling us that this is what will help to get us beyond COVID-19, and that these vaccines are safe and that they are effective. Please do your part by getting a vaccine as soon as you're eligible and getting on there and making an appointment. It is easy and it's effective and it will really help. So we would greatly appreciate that. And I don't know if anybody would like to add anything to that or has a different take, but I think that's generally been the feeling of municipalities and the state government, as well as the federal department, the CDC and the Vermont Department of Health. And I think that I'm just sort of expressing the same opinions here in the local community, because we'd like to see that encouraged. And let's see. I don't think I have anything else here. Any other items that either under old business or new oh, I did, sorry, one more item and then I'll open it up. One more thing is that, so normally we would have, or we have warned, and we do have our annual meeting for, let me see here. Oh shoot, is it?
It's next Tuesday, March 16th.
Tuesday, the 16th?
Next week,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so Tuesday, March 16th, what we had, and we sent out a notice that what we intend to do on the 16th is that myself and John Ulrich and one other person will appear in person at the meeting site and immediately continue that meeting to May 15th at 10 a.m. I believe it was, but we had specified in that warning the exact the date and time. It's the Saturday. Shoot, I'm sorry guys, I should probably make sure that this is the right date and time.
It was Saturday, the 15th at 10 at Lions Park.
Okay, and you okay, great, thank you. So Saturday, May 15th at 10 a.m. at Lions Park. That's what we're going to continue the meeting to a specific date, time, and place. And that's in accordance with all the rules that apply to our public meetings. Okay, so we will hold the meeting next Tuesday, but only for the purpose of continuing it to May the 15th. So we don't want people to show up and think that there's a meeting happening there, but just as a matter of law, it technically is going to occur and then immediately be continued. Okay, so, and the date and time will be the 15th at 10 a.m. And hopefully we'll have a nice sunny morning and we can all gather in that space, socially distanced. I have been over there a couple times with that in mind. And I think that with the slope and everything, that we can have somebody essentially stand on the slope like the moderator, and then have seats set up that are spaced out enough so that everybody can see. And if we have a sound system, we can be heard. I think it'll work out really nicely.
John, in the
Yeah.
past, we've used the Little League has a sound system to announce games. So if you need something, and it might already be there.
That's perfect.
So if you need something ahead of time, just let me know and I can talk to them.
Great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
But we'll organize, how that's going to look. And I think that, if we prepare space for, 50 people, we usually get around 30 or less. So I think it should be easily doable in that format. And that's all I have. So would others like to add comment or?
In terms of old business, I will be sending you guys emails with ordinances in the next couple of weeks so that we can discuss those at our March meeting. So I don't know how many we want to tackle per month, but I'll send you anything that makes sense and is fairly easy to juggle. And then you guys can read them and be prepared to discuss and or approve when we get to March.
April?
April, no, yeah, April.
Yeah,
I know what month it is.
it's all right. We're only on the 9th so far. Yeah, so feels like we're not in March fully yet.
I have one under old and a couple under new.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
But in terms of old, I did reach out to Cinda Morris about the McWaters Park, the steps, and just asked for information. She replied back that she would send me something. I think that happened on the 10th of February. And I haven't gotten anything since. So I don't know if they realized that they hadn't put anything else in and they're not going to follow up, or they might. So I may try to reach out to her again to see if she just forgot. But right now, I don't anticipate any other money going toward that unless they reach back out.
I think that group doesn't meet very often, especially in the winter time. So it may be that they're just waiting for the next time that they,
Sure.
but
All right. Well, I'll send her something. I'll send her something this week and just,
Yeah.
follow up to see if they're still interested in, reaching out.
thank you for following up on that. Would you like to, I know we had discussed last month about the reenactment type thing that might occur there.
Yeah,
Is
I think, I just think it's a little early for them right now, so I don't think it's going to happen relatively soon. So I think that's kind of months away. So I did reach back out and just haven't heard anything back.
Oh,
So
you
I
did?
assume I assume they're just waiting
Great.
for things to finalize or have updates, but
Oh, great. So, sorry, I was just asking whether that was something that you wanted to follow up on, but you already did. So that's great. Thank you.
yeah, I just haven't heard back on that either. In terms of what they're planning on doing or when. I assumed it was going to be when the weather's nicer, so maybe they didn't really have anything to report, so they didn't really reach back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. And if you want me to jump into new, I've got a couple new.
Great. Yeah.
There was a wiffle ball group that was interested in using Welling Field. And I thought it'd be great, and anything to get any activity that's appropriate. I just said I'd mention at the meeting tonight, I told them I can't imagine why we wouldn't allow that, as long as obviously any kind of guidance was followed while they're playing or doing their activities. And they are in the process of getting, I think anytime we have a group like that use facilities, we should have proof of insurance. So they are going to provide proof of insurance. I'm in the process of getting them kind of addresses, which are kind of difficult to find for Welling Field, but I don't believe that's going to happen for a couple of months, but I'll keep kind of following up with that. But it sounded like a great use of the field. I've been dying to get somebody on there for years. So, maybe this will generate more interest in it. And then, go ahead.
I'm also wondering whether we might you know, especially since we do have an intern that would, you know, likes to do work. It's amazing. Uh, that may be a policy issue that we would want to look at, is that if we're going to have people use fields, like what the you know, just some general guidelines that have to be followed, like, you know, if you have trash, or that there's no alcohol, or if alcohol, you know, if there is alcohol, I don't know, you know, how we would deal with that, but that just a few general policies that would apply for anybody that used it, so it would be the same for everybody.
No, I think it's a great idea. Absolutely. In the past, basically what we've done is we've kind of required a insurance. I mean, my philosophy is, and again, you guys are all welcome to disagree or agree. I just think that the fields we have and the property we have, the taxpayers already pay for. So
Yeah.
I completely disagree with charging small local groups like Little League or soccer leagues or those to use the fields they already pay for in
Yeah.
tax. But what I usually mention is, you know, if they want better maintenance on the fields, we're not going to provide maintenance other than what we do regularly.
Right.
So if they want it mowed more often, that's on them to mow. If they want, you know, facilities to be upgraded, that's on them. And I've also encouraged many of them, which I started back when I ran North Shaft years ago, the soccer league. I just refused to pay money, but what I could always guarantee is I will get people there to volunteer to do any project you want to do. We'll clean up, we'll take care of fields, we'll do whatever you want to do, because manpower is a lot easier than money for small leagues. So
Yeah.
I think it would be definitely worth a discussion at our next meeting, what types of things we would require for any group that wants to use, you know, the field short of paying money, because it's just, you know, these leagues barely get by with what they have. And I don't think it's fair to double dip, because we don't charge people to walk their dogs at Welling Field
Right.
or do anything else there. Just because you have a name associated with your group doesn't mean we should bang you for extra bucks. So anyway, that's my opinion.
I agree, Mark. Does Willow Park charge groups for using the fields?
To be honest, I really don't know. There may be some fees associated with that. I don't know. Anything I ran, I found spaces that I knew I didn't have to pay for. So we did most of ours at Shaftesbury at
Howard?
Howard.
Park,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, thank you. At Howard Park. And then we would, you know, I would use Welling Field or, you know, George Street Field, which was one of my favorites for years and years, because they were so generous with their space. Thank you, Lori. No, but I'm not sure. There may be costs associated with fields in Bennington. I just don't know.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we should charge either. I was just, and they may have like standards already in place that we could borrow from for, you know, any kind of things they need to follow to use it.
Yeah, I think I can put Alana in touch with Shannon Barsotti and also the Becker, Kayla Becker, to get that paperwork. I know that I've rented the pavilion at Willow Park several times, and they do charge a fee, but it's nominal. It doesn't go to the it doesn't cover costs or anything like that. I suspect what the fee is for is just so that people don't book it up and then never show up. And we're not going to run into that problem here, because it's not going to be booked more than, you know, it's not going to be overbooked. So I think that's really the only, because it was like, I think the fee was like $10 or less. So it wasn't designed to pay for the use. It was really just, I think, to prevent double booking.
Yeah, I think the sports leagues are a little different because they're looking to book the space 3-4 days out of the week for an extended period of time. So
yeah.
But I agree. And again, I don't think they're charging. I'm not saying they're exorbitant, but it creates every nerve in my body that we double dip on certain things and don't on others. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
So I'll keep following up on that. And the last thing, I just happened to, the depot storage building we have. I know there's been plans, and obviously everything in the last year and a half or a couple of years has been kind of put on the back burner. But I actually touched base with the CDC building program, just to kind of put a bug in their ear about whether that was something they might be interested in taking on as a project. And they seemed willing to at least consider it. They would need kind of a budget type thing to work with, and maybe some engineering or some kind of specs to work with. But if we're that we have an obligation since we took that building over, and I know that was part of my doing, so I want to follow up with it. I'd hate to see anything happen to that building, and I think we are now responsible for the upkeep of that building, and would love to see, if nothing else, preserve it. And that program is wonderful. It's very cost effective for a municipality. They are a nonprofit, so they basically just charge materials. And I would be happy to kind of take a lead on that and see what it would take to kind of do our part to make sure that that doesn't, fall the same way the silo did next to it. And I would love all of your opinions on that as well.
Yeah, one, I don't know if this is the time for spitballing or not, but one idea that had occurred to me that really, I think for years there's been a desire to have some sort of either co-op or farmers market or something like that in North Bennington, I think. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel or pull anything away from Bennington, but maybe like as an additional location or something like that type of structure could be repurposed, I think, really nicely as an open air sort of pavilion that could be used for that type of market. I've actually seen farmers markets in a similar space, probably double the length of that, but it could just be open though. And I don't know what the integrity of the walls there are, but I know that the timbers are strong there, and we would have to do work on the roof, but I know the floor is really amazing. And so like having it be open and that, beautiful floor there is actually kind of a cool idea, I think.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky with that. I know there are some things written into how we use that space. We can't use it as a for-profit anything.
Right.
So if we were to do something like that, it might, I'm not sure if we can have people, I don't know, we would have to look at the agreement that we took that building over, because it's not an ownership, it's a lease basically. And I'm pretty sure we can't do a whole lot with it in terms of operating any type of business out of it. So that
Yeah. And I think that they've worked so hard to try to create an event kind of for the farmers market in Bennington that, again, that you wouldn't want to pull away from that, because they're trying to get as many people as they can to actually go to that market, right? So we don't want to do that. But for people that like need to pick up their farm share or something like that it's just a place that's out of the rain that you could like meet or do, I don't know, just like a public space. It's a nice combination. What you're thinking about is preserving a historic building, but at the same time creating a public space that is, nice, but also safe and, whatever. I don't know. Matt, did you have a comment?
So, I think I can add a little history to this. Unfortunately, there had been a lot of ideas over the last 15 years of, you know, the railroad was going to come in and there was, you know, we could have some sort of commerce there, a bakery, grain, you know, a grain mill, bakery, farmer's market, all this. And that pretty much was put to rest when the railroad wrote the contract that Mark refers to. It pretty much ties our hands. I don't think there could be any commerce, whether it's cooperative, nonprofit, or for-profit happening there, unfortunately. In addition to that, I think that it's a great idea that the CDC would be getting involved with helping us with that. Unfortunately, you know, as you recall, the insurance requirements are ridiculous with anything happening on railroad land, to the tune of many millions of dollars of liability insurance that we've avoided, and maybe by how we subcontract a job or something like that, we could avoid that. But you know, unfortunately, the railroad actually wants those buildings to go away, and they were hoping to just tear it down. I think they made that very clear when we expressed an interest in taking it over. So I think that's a pretty hard ladder to climb. All those ideas are great, but in the new contract, they tied our hands pretty good. You know, Whitman's looked at the building. They wanted to have. Art thought, well, maybe this is a place he could do storage and this and that. And it was clear if he was going to do that, he would have to upgrade it with electricity and all sorts of safety protocols. And I just think if we think the building is useful to us or to the highway department, then anything that's done is done in-house, and you know, just to secure it and make it watertight and all that. But sadly, I'm skeptical about what they're going to allow us to do with that building.
For good reason. You have reason to be skeptical. It's a tough company to work or to try to work with.
Yep.
But yeah, it's worth a shot.
Sorry, one thing on the, just so you know, I think that the Park McCullough is also trying to start a weekly farmers market and craft fair through maybe the summer and fall on Sunday. So just so you know, I think that's happening.
That's wonderful.
We wouldn't want to get involved with.
Yeah, no. I mean, my biggest thing with that building is, one, preserve it. And I do think that, I mean, we all know Norm, he would put it to good use. He would find something to put in there. But I could care less about that even. I mean, I don't know. It's just, you can't recreate that. You can't, that cannot be replaced. Once that's gone, it's gone forever. And I think, I don't know. I think we got to find the right ears to have that fall on at the railroad department or at the railroad company and just say, you know, they're misguided. If that's gone, that benefits them zero. I mean, I don't understand their philosophy on wanting that gone. They would not benefit from that being gone. And I do agree that they would rather have it gone. But I think the more voices we have to say that we don't want to see those things go away, that they'll have a hard time justifying letting those go away. I don't know. I live here for a reason, and that's one of them. Just cool things like that I love to look at.
Yeah, I would hope that maybe they would consider, you know, selling that property outright to us so that we could do those things, but it's adjacent enough to the rail system, even though it's a spur that's that it could be problematic. And the reason they want to get rid of these things is because they're just liabilities out there for them. They're not using it, so therefore it's not useful to them, and why not? But
Well, they're getting what, 5,000 or so from us every year for it?
too damn much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, in my mind, it's a small price to pay for something like that,
Oh, you mean just to keep it?
just to keep it
Right.
standing.
I agree, but then
Yeah,
to keep it standing, we're going to be into a lot of money, which
Yes.
I also agree with.
yes, there does come a point that, and again, I'm willing to kind of take, we did it for the skate park. That was a ton of money we raised for, it's a lot of man hours, but it's a good cause. And I think that's another one I would be willing to, we have quite a few. I mean, it's fantastic when you walk by. There are people that sit outside to watch that train come in every single day.
Yep.
So we have train enthusiasts that if we get enough of them involved and fired up about it, maybe we could do something about it. I mean, they're a great, group of people that have a lot of passion. And
It'd be cool to have is there a view of the trains from there, like a watching station or something where you could like watch undercover or something, that would sort of appeal to both. I don't
oh,
know.
you definitely could. Yeah, because where it comes in from Shaftesbury along 67, it comes right toward that building and then turns in toward the depot. So it would be a great viewing spot. It would take a little bit of cleanup, but
Well,
But anyway.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, Mark, really. And if you can make a crack in any of their, their language or their, where they stand,
I may actually reach out to Art Whitman, because I know he's dealt with them a lot, given his dealings up there, and just find out who the best person to talk to with the most sensitive ears.
So Whitman's, have the long time lease with that building over on the other side.
Yeah.
That incredible building that again, talk about a restoration opportunity. The
Sure.
one with the rounded, that could be another fantastic building if we could just get them all and do something with them.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
But
All right, I just thought I'd mention that. I'll try to keep following up and letting y'all know where it goes. That's all I got.
All right. And I just sent you a copy of the lease if you want that.
I saw that.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Any other old business or new business, whatever? Mary, go ahead.
Yes, I just had a question. If I could ask, where are we on getting the village website? And is there anything that I could do to assist in getting that furthered along?
I can tell you, I've been writing with Courtney and they are able to devote April to working on the website. We just didn't have photos yet. And now we've had a bunch of photos come in from folks. So Judy Brower collected a lot for us. So, and then we had another, forgetting his name, but we've gotten a lot of images. So I think
Okay.
they're going to be ready to really spend some time on it at the beginning of April. So I'm hopeful.
Okay. So if I had kind of like suggested content or something like that, I can start to work on that for April.
Yeah, I think if we could be collecting that this month, and then that
Okay.
way they could really get moving first thing in April. That'd
Thank
be
you.
great. Thanks, Mary.
So Aaron, do you have those? Are we sending the images to you?
You can send them to
pictures?
John or me.
All right, because Laura just took one like a month ago. I think we were by the over the falls by the fire department in with the sunset. It's an
Oh,
amazing
yeah, that would be
picture.
great.
All right, I'll see if she can,
Yeah.
I'll try to get her to send it to you.
One,
And
one thing that did come up is the logo. And I need to, Lori, I just need to get a piece of letterhead. I think that's, she thought we could just scan it in because she wasn't able to get it from maybe White Rocks, but I don't know. She wasn't able to.
You know, I don't know. When I think of logo, I think of the village logo, the real village logo. I don't think of the ones that are on the sides of the highway trucks and all that, because those are brand new. I mean, those are not the village logo.
Yeah.
So I think we should have the village logo. That's just me, and I can get you a copy of that.
That would
It's,
be great.
it's really nice, and it's a background picture of the depot that's sort of faded back, and it's just, that's the village. So,
Yeah, that would be great. Perfect.
okay, I'll get it to you.
Thanks. I'll run over and grab it.
We'll do that tonight.
And so the images like you're talking about, Mark, that's really what we're after, is people's photographs of the, recent stuff that can, in high quality photos that can be kind of splashed on the website, as opposed to I mean, historical photos are great too. But the fund has done a lot of work collecting historical photographs, and so has the museum. And so I felt like I really had a lot of egg on my face when I was, sending out this message, because I realized, when I put the message on Front Porch Forum, I hadn't really thought of that. I just said, hey, if you have any pictures of North Bennington, let me know. And then it's like the floodgates open. And I had realized that, sitting right here next to me while I was writing that email is, these two books of Those Were the Days that are just absolutely full of historical photos, and the name of people that I should get in touch with, like, Tyler Reich and other people that have all these images. So I think there's not going to be any problem in having a historical element to the website with plenty of content, and we can sort of share or rotate or direct people to the fund and to the museum and have our own stuff. I mean, that's not going to be an issue. But what would be really nice, though, is these sort of rotating images on the front page, or in the as the background as you start clicking through the site, that are recent and are more personal and more of the current village, like what you're going to see when you come here next week or tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's kind of, and you're right. And in my mind, the whole point of having those pictures is, why do you want to come here today?
Exactly.
To see a picture from 100 years ago, that's great, but you're not going to see that today.
Yeah.
But those pictures should be something that says, oh, wow, I want to see that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get that to you.
That's great. Yeah, I don't think they have to be professional photos. I think they just have to be good and show the character of the village.
Anything else for the good of the order?
I have one question about the status of the cell tower at the top of the hill here.
Yeah, that's a great question. I have been periodically checking in with Andy Schlatter.
Yep.
And the last time that I talked to him, he said that project is still a go. It's just that the everything's gotten delayed because of COVID and just various normal delays. So it's not, there's no problem with the project. It's proceeding totally as expected, just on a different timeline at this point. So I haven't heard from him in a couple months though. So I imagine that they wouldn't start the project in the winter. They'd probably wait for spring, although maybe they're, if they're going to be clearing brush, it's probably better to do that now actually, but I don't know. I will follow up though. Thanks for reminding me on that one. I'll just shoot him another email.
Anybody here gotten their vaccine yet?
I do
It's
tomorrow.
Saturday.
No, Thursday.
You did?
No, Mark and I do on Thursday.
I go Saturday.
Good for you. Oh, yeah.
And I will say that site was very easy to use, or I just had good luck with it.
Yeah, I'm
Marker.
scheduled for Saturday too.
See, you guys got there before me. I have to wait until the 20th.
Oh,
Sorry.
were they all closed out for this weekend?
Huh?
They were closed out for this weekend?
You know, we got the email yesterday with the code, the EDU code, and
Yep.
so I went on right when I got home from school, it was full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
got
I
on
got in
renewed.
on- Yeah, I got in on the 20th and a couple people from school got in on Saturday, but mostly the following. The
Emily's-
20th, yeah.
Emily's in for Saturday, but John, did you say you got on?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
He
Uh,
teaches at CDC.
Oh,
yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about all that. Lucky you. Yeah.
I mean, if they tell you to do it, then I say do it. I'm not, I feel like I'm not in a high risk category, but at the same time, you
Go
just
for it.
do it when you can. So,
Yeah, well, like you mentioned before, if you got the opportunity, it's kind of your civic duty. So when
Yeah.
they tell you to get it done, the sooner you get it done, the
True,
better off it is for everybody.
true.
Now, Matthew, have you gotten it as a postal worker or
Oh,
no?
God, no. No, we've been, the state put us on the bottom of the list,
yeah.
even though I see 300 people a day.
I was gonna say, you're out, yeah, you're out in public more than anybody.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, it'll be end of April probably for me, but whatever.
They want to open schools full-time in April, so they figured they better vaccinate the teachers, right? Because we were right down there with you, Matt.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like that came along real quick?
Sure did.
Kind of strange how that all erupted out of the state level. But for
Public
whatever
pressure.
reason, I'm glad that it's happening. It's
Yeah.
y'all gonna get it. That's good.
All right. Well,
Well-
thank you all very much. I'm glad you're hanging in there. It's nice to see everybody's face and thanks for continuing on in these roles. I wish we could get together.
Yeah.
Carrying on.
Soon enough.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Have a great night, guys.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.